Can't hear you, Sean.
Hey, thank you for joining in for our very first episode of Roll, Move, Repeat. My name is Sean,
I'm Mandy.
And I'm also Sean.
and it would help if I actually unmuted my mic. So, yay.
Great start to
great,
the first podcast.
great start to the first podcast. There we go. There we go. So, welcome to our very first podcast. We started this podcast to bring our passion to the masses, I guess you would say. Whenever you talk to me, as you know, if you know me, I'm always ready to talk board games. Mandy and Sean have very much been my outlets for when I need to play board games and try new board games, because we have our passion of trying new things and screwing up and then playing again, so we know how to play them right. I guess you would say. So what this episode will be about is what got us into board games, our earliest memories and stuff like that. So, but before we do that, we have a couple segments we're going to get into. Our first one is what we've been recently playing. So Mandy and Sean, it looks like you guys have played Tiny Towns. Do you guys want to talk about that and what your thoughts are on that?
Go ahead,
Who's go
Sean.
first?
You can.
Yeah. So this is a game that I think my wife and I played it first at PAX several years ago, and we all really we both really liked it. So, it's it's a little bit of like the kind of like the Tetrisy games, and like you kind of going around, you're getting a cube, people pick a cube, and you're trying to build buildings to get the most points. It's one of those that's it's pretty easy to teach people, so it's not too tricky. It's a fun game. My kids have played it a couple times. They've really enjoyed it. Um, and there's definitely probably the most fun part of it is when you really want to build something, and the person next to you calls out some cube, some color that you absolutely do not want. You're like, why? Where am I putting this cube for this? I don't need it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of swearing in this game.
So the game play basically is, and I have played this. I actually have it. The gameplay basically is you have one person who's the builder or the what do you call it, the constructor? I don't know what the actual term is.
It's builder.
The builder, and then you get to
Mhm.
place different colored cubes, and the cubes have to match a card so you can build this whatever. Am I correct? I haven't played this in a while.
Yeah, it's each building has a different color cube um, design, I guess you could say. So it might be an L-shaped thing with like it has to be yellow and then brown and then blue or something. And if you get that exactly on your board, you can then build that building. And the tricky part is you only have a certain amount of spaces on the board to play with. And if you have other cubes that get in the way and you have to take a certain color, whatever color people call out, that's where it gets a little tricky because you could end up with nothing, and that's negative points at the end. So
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, if you had empty blank spaces, you lost
Mhm.
points. It's a really
Yeah.
fun game. Like I know it leads to fights because like I guess I've played it with my family, and I think I played it with you, Sean, at one point, where
Probably.
calling the numbers, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I need this one blue or I need this one brown, and oh yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking
And they
about.
call and then the next person calls out orange. You're like, what am I going to do with this orange cube?
Yeah.
Where am I? No place to put it.
That's awesome. And then I'm talking about leaving or leading to fights in games. You guys also played Love Letter.
Yep. Same night. We just were in for fights that night. Yep. That one, it was okay though. I don't feel like we fought too much in that one.
I love Letter. It's such a fun game to play, and it's one of those like you sit down with somebody who's never played it before. You do one round, and they're like, okay, I got it, and then it just becomes a lot of it's a lot of fun, and then you're trying to figure out you're trying to get people out, and then so you can get your letter to the princess.
Nice.
There's
Yeah.
a little bit of bluffing involved.
A little bit, not too much. It's not like Blood on the Clock Tower or anything where you have to bluff. It's
Yeah.
I personally am just I don't love bluffing games. I'm terrible at it. So, but I really like this one.
So Riker, my son, really loves this game. He plays it a lot at PAX Unplugged. He joins the tournaments, and it's one of those games where it's so fun, and it's fun for me to watch him play because I could see you're trying to get the other people out, so you're trying to figure out what they have. But I know in our circles, like when someone calls you out, there's a lot of swearing at each other because you need that one last win to win the whole game, and then that person just like either barons you, which means that the higher card lives and the lower card dies, or they just use a guard on you and pick your card number out of the magic air that they have. What would you say, your memory of that game this weekend, or even any weekend playing it, would be of like, what's that one thing that you're just like, oh, I want to go back and relive that, or oh god, I wish I could just totally throttle this person for pulling me out of the game? I'll start with you, Mandy.
Mine is just I love pulling a guard on someone and just guessing, just completely guessing, and maybe they have a really good card and maybe they're king. I think that's what I actually got somebody out on. I'm just like, do you have a king? And they're like, yep. And then they're out. It's fantastic. It feels real good. So I feel like I could always go back to that. That's a good feeling.
My favorite moment in this game is whenever somebody discards the Countess, because the Countess is a very high card, and there's only three other cards that you could have which would force you to discard the Countess. And as soon as somebody discards it, everybody around the table is like,
Ooh,
oh,
yeah.
which one of those do you have? And there's all the cards that are played are laid out, so there's a lot of card counting happens at that point.
Mhm.
Everybody's like, okay, is this card out? All right, I see this card. Okay, so there's a lot of deduction of like, okay,
Right.
I think you must
But
have this card.
there's also one that's always put aside.
It's
So
true.
there is like you don't know. It could be just one of the side ones. So you can't completely card count.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
it is good.
For that game, I always get screwed with the king princess combo. I have the king and I have the princess, so I can't discard the princess, so I have to trade the king, and then at that point I have to give it to someone, and they know. Now, granted, I know what they have, but they also know what I have. So if I don't have a guard, then I know I'm done, because they're gonna pull something and get me out. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so all right, so that's Love Letter. We're gonna jump to one of mine, which is Endeavor Deep Sea. This is put out by Jared Gray and Carl DeVisser, and it's mostly found on Burnt Island Games. I first played this game with Sean and Ben at our camping weekend, and I absolutely loved it. Basically, you are in charge of a submarine that's going to explore this deep sea area, and as you're exploring, you're recruiting people to help you take actions, and then you're raising up your stats so that way you can recruit higher people to come join you and help you, or you're getting token actions, so that way you get these little discs that are your token actions, where you can actually spend more, you can get more actions per turn. It's definitely a worker placement and some of a resource management, because you need research to explore different areas, to what do they call it? I forget what they call it in terms of oh, Sean, help me out here. When you go into the area and you have to use your research to, oh man, I'm drawing a blank on what it is.
I played this once in August.
Yeah.
You're relying on you're giving my memory way too much credit.
I'll remember it in a little while, but again, you need the research, so that way you can oh, conserve. It's the conservation area, so you have to do the conservation, so that way you can actually do that and that raises your stats
right.
as well.
Oh, yeah.
So I absolutely love this game. It is a fun game. I got Allison to play it for the first time. I think she liked it. We keep saying we're going to play it again, so I'm hoping soon we'll get that back to the table. Maybe once we get our place closed up in New Hampshire, but I'm hoping that it will be that we'll get that to the table. So it's a great game. If you haven't played it, definitely play it.
I've never heard of it. Where'd you find out about it?
I heard about it from our camping weekend. Our friend Ben brought it up, and he's like, let's play. And we're like, let's go. I will say it does say about 30 minutes per player, and that's just about right. Because we played it with Sean, when Sean, Ben and I played it. It took us about 2 hours, but that was with Ben teaching us. When Allison and I played it, it was just about an hour and about 15 to 20 minutes. So that was with me teaching her. It was only me teaching one person. So it's just about 30 minutes per player if you know what you're doing. It can go a little quicker, I think, once you realize how you're going. But then near the end, there's a little bit of analysis paralysis, because you're trying to collect as many points as you can near the end of the game. so I think it can get that analysis paralysis near the end. But I think it's a great game. Yeah, we'll definitely have to get together and play that, Mandy.
Yeah, definitely. How complicated would you say it is on a level of like Arc Nova being the most complicated? And although I feel like I've played more complicated than Arc Nova at this point, but still, if that's like
It is
how close.
not that complicated at all. If 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 you're saying Arc Nova is like on a scale from 1 to 5, I'd say this is more
Yeah.
like a 2.5. Like
Oh
it's,
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
it's 2.5, 3. Again, it's pretty simple once you get down the how to move, what the tokens do on the people. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy.
Cool. Yeah, I look forward to playing.
So you haven't played this, and I haven't played your other game, Mandy, which is Creature Caravan.
Yeah.
So tell me about
Oh,
this.
I love this. This is like my new favorite. This is great. So this is a new one. I mean, maybe it's not new. I could still consider it new. But it's by Ryan Lockett and Red Raven Games. And I found out about this at PAX Unplugged last year. And so I got it, had Ryan Lockett was there, had him sign it. And I just love all of his games. So I mostly just bought it because it was his game. I didn't really know if I was going to like it or not, but it's one of the best ones. The artwork is fantastic. And it's just a simple version of a lot of his games. If you've ever played Above and Below, Near and Far, I mean, he has a ton of other ones too, but those types of games, it's all the same artwork and all the same kind of creatures and everybody that comes through it. So you're kind of familiar with all of the types of creatures that are there, but it's played in a very different way, but it's a lot simpler. So I feel like it's one of those games where we're like, look, we have like an hour to play a game. Let's just do something quick. And since we already know how to play, we just can take it out and start playing. It's very, very easy, but it's not so easy like Sean's absolute favorite game, Sorry. It's not that easy, but it's really, really good.
That's for the games we hate podcast.
Sorry.
That'll be
Did
coming up
wrong?
soon. Yeah, that'll be coming up soon.
So yeah, I would highly suggest it especially if you like any of the other Ryan Lockett games. This is a great one. He has some really good games, but this is just a simpler version of a lot of the others. So
that's great.
It's really good.
That's
yeah.
great.
I mean, you have 3 of his games to your left. or
is it over there?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, above and below. Yeah, I see above and below, near and far.
Above and below and near and far here.
Yep.
And
Islebound. I forgot.
Islebound.
I haven't played that in a long time. Oh, Now and Never's up here.
Oh wow. So
Yep.
Jumping off topic really quick. I have Islebound. You're gonna have to teach me how to play because I have that and I haven't played it yet. So we're gonna have to.
I haven't played in years, and you know why? It's because Josh and I were playing, and we're just playing the 2-player version, and he immediately figured out how to rig the game and win, and it annoyed me.
All right.
So we haven't played since then. So I think we need to play 4 players. I think it's going to be a lot better 4 players. I don't think it's meant to be a 2-player game.
Let's play the 3 of us first, so that way at least I have a shot at least winning once before Josh kicks us.
Right.
So, but yeah.
So I've also played Creature Caravan with Mandy a few times. It is a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it.
Nice. What would you say, Sean, is like how easy or hard is it to learn?
Oh, it's pretty easy. It's I think the biggest hurdle is just every single card. There's a big stack of cards. They're all different and they do different things. So the first time you play, you're seeing all these cards for the first time. But once you kind of get the gist of how the actual what you do is very straightforward and it's pretty easy. And it's just a matter of kind of knowing the cards so that you can figure out what works best for getting the points that you want to get.
Nice.
As a game that Red Raven Games can easily add expansions because, like I said, it's just a deck of cards you're picking from, so they could easily add a bunch of cards to it for expansion wise. So
that's great.
Yeah, I'm excited for PAX Unplugged this year because I really want to see if they're coming out with an expansion. I'm gonna go right over to the Red Raven booth and just be like, "What's happening? I want more cards."
So speaking of, you brought up PAX Unplugged, I'm going to say this is my game that I got to play first at PAX Unplugged last year with my son Riker. We got to play Kavango. This is put out by Matt Brown and Zara Reed, and it's Mazaza Games. I think that's how you pronounce it, and I apologize if I just messed those up. This game is really fun. The artwork is beautiful. Basically, you are in a sanctuary in Africa, and you're trying to build up your sanctuary by having animals, and the way the animals come into your sanctuary is you need to supply them with their food. So you need trees, you need grass, you need insects, you need fish, and then you're filling out this grid of mammals and lizards and so on, and birds of prey and birds and buffalo. It's amazing. The fun part about it, well, the fun part about it for my son is he figured out the meta and he knows how to win. So right now I think his record's like 14-1 or 14-2. I am the complete opposite. I am 1-14, I think, last time I checked. But it's a really fun game. It's one that we love to play together as a family. It's not hard at all. Again, it's if you and I hate to compare games, but it's very wing Spanish, where you get to, like, again, you're trying to bring birds in your sanctuary. This one here, you're trying to bring animals, and you have to have the different types of food that they need. So you can have honey badgers, you can have lions, and snakes, and it's a great game. It's a really fun game. I know I played it with Sean, and I know Mandy, this is another game we're gonna have to get together and play. But
Yep.
Sean and I got to play it once or twice. And Sean, your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it was fun. It's definitely one of those games where you want to play it once to kind of get the gist of everything. There was a lot of things once we got to kind of like the third. I think there's like 3 rounds, or kind of 3 phases, right?
Yep, 3 rounds.
Or was it 4? Yeah,
Right.
so that once you get to the third, kind of like the third round, you realize, like, oh, here's a bunch of now there's a bunch of animals that required a bunch of stuff that I needed in the first and second round. Now I don't have the right stuff to make kind of these big ones. So I definitely need to play it a second time now that I have a better idea of what I'm doing. But yeah, it was fun. It was a good one.
It's a game I really enjoy, and Mandy, we'll have to get together and play it with you
Yeah.
guys and see what your thoughts are. All right,
We're gonna have a stack that we're gonna start
that'll
playing
be
together.
that'll be the stack. That'll be one of our episodes. Is what games do we need to play?
Right.
So we're going to move on to our next segment, which is what we've backed or what we're looking at backing. And I'm going to start with Sean on this one for his ultimate game that he loves very, very
Oh,
much. From the video game days. But Sean, what about this Heroes of Might and Magic?
I swore I wasn't going to kickstart anything ever again. I was done with the Kickstarter. I guess technically it's Game Found. So Heroes of Might and Magic 3 is probably my ultimate most favorite video game of all time. And a couple years ago, the company, which, hold on, I put it in my notes. I took notes. Archon Studio released the Heroes of Might and Magic 3, the board game, which I kickstarted and I got. And they just announced. Funny enough, it just went live today. Heroes of Might and Magic, the card game. I had a chance to look at a video of them showing how to play it. I'm going to kind of look at it a little bit more, but I'm kind of a sucker for anything Heroes of Might and Magic. I will probably back it. It's actually not too expensive, but it looks it looks it looks kind of similar to maybe like some. What was the game you were saying earlier, Sean? That you said kind
Oh,
of reminded you of
yeah, Summoner Wars.
game Sona Wars, yeah. So kind of similar idea to that. So basically, it's, just 2-on-2. You're playing cards and trying to defeat your opponent. So, yeah, it looks interesting. I'm going to take a harder look at it now that it's officially gone live and they got some more videos. But yeah, that's one I'm thinking of that I might be back in.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those things where if you're into the IP, it's almost a given that you're going to have to like grab whatever they put out there. So
Yep.
yeah, and I'll because of that, I'm going to go with the intellectual property for me. Galactic Cruise. I am a big fan of this. I've only played it like 2 or 3 times, but I am a huge fan of this game. It's a worker placement. This is put out by Keeson Games, with the game designed by TK King, Colton Thompson, and Dennis Northcott. This game, so the game itself is such a fun game. You're doing a cruise ship that's going into space, is how it's basically played, and you're trying to become the next CEO of the company. So it's a really fun game. They have this new achievements out. I don't know, there's basically, if you do this, you get more points. So it's going to add a lot more points to the game, which is going to be a lot of fun. I can't speak highly enough of this game. in general. So I'm really looking forward. I back this to get this to add, and I got the bigger box so that way I can store everything in it. Because if you, I wish I could show you. Oh, it's over in that corner, but I wish I could show you. The box is not that. It's not that big, but it's heavy because it's got everything in it. And adding more stuff to it's gonna just make it like just that much more heavier and bigger. But so I'm really excited. I know Sean got to play with this. Got to play this with me at the camping weekend again. That was another game that we played that took us like 6 hours. It's almost up there with Ark Nova and Terraforming Mars.
Yeah.
But
I mean, to be fair, I think we played it. The next time we played it, we cut the time down significantly, since we knew we were doing that time.
Yeah, once you figure out, it's one of those games that once you figure out, it goes, it starts picking up. And then the other thing is that it's another game where it starts a little slower and then just ramps up really quick. And then by the time you're done, you're like, oh man, I only have one turn left. What am I? Oh crud! How am I going to do this now? So I need 4 more turns, just 4 more turns to do what I need to. But
is this the game we played at Unplugged together? It was like, I just remember it was a space game and you measured things and you could nuke each other.
Nope. That's that one right there. That's For All Mankind.
That's what I'm thinking of. Okay.
Yep.
Also a good game. But okay.
Yep. That'll be on my podcast because we'll be on the next one. But yeah. So yeah, no, this is the one they didn't have any playability ones. They just had it sitting out and they were just like, hey, it's coming, and at PAX Unplugged. So but speaking of games that we really enjoy, Mandy, I know you haven't backed it yet, but you've been looking at cocktails for the Distilled.
Yeah, I really I like Distilled a lot. And I'm not, you'll probably find this on a lot of these podcast episodes, but I've never backed anything ever. And it's because I usually feel like I really need to play the game. I don't get a good sense of it just watching online. I really want to play it before I know if I like it or not. However, I do have Distilled, and I love Distilled. Cocktails, I'm sure I would love. I don't think that would be an issue. How could you go wrong with cocktails? So I'm thinking this might be my first, and it looks great. I'm really hoping that they take it up a notch and they try to mix and match the sugars, because I know in the original it's like every single one is like one type of sugar and that's it. But I would love it if you saw one where it's, you need a berry sugar and a different kind of sugar, and you could mix and match a little bit. That would be great. So I have high hopes for this one.
Yeah.
I hope they add the garnishes. You can be like, so you need your olive for the martini. You need your maraschino cherries, and
yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. That is great. It's one that I got to see at PAX, and that's how I got you suckered into it, because I brought it to your house and we played it.
Yep.
But yeah, so once you get it, you'll have to invite me over to play, because I want to see how that goes. All right, so we're going to go to our next segment. We only got one more segment left before we go to our topic. So our next segment is what we're excited for that's coming out, or that has come out, that we're really excited to play. I'm going to start with Mandy, because Mandy doesn't have a board game. She has a video game that's a board game or something like this.
I've only played this 3 days, and I'm obsessed. I'm sure everyone that is into like video games and sees this is like, that came out years ago. Like, but I just found out about it on Sunday. My brother had played it and was like, you would absolutely love this. This is a combination of, he explained it as a combination of escape room meets the Myst. Remember the old game Myst that you could play on your desktop? Meets the show Lost. I'm like, oh, these things are, and it's like a horror kind of mystery, and I'm like, perfect for this time of year. And the whole weird thing is, the entire thing is based around a deck building card game that you're playing during the video game. It is unlike anything you've ever played. And I've not gotten that far, but I've heard it gets like crazy. I'm still kind of in the uncrazy phase. It's just kind of creepy and weird, and I'm solving things, but not at a very fast rate. But like, I'm losing sleep over this. It's bad.
That's awesome.
I'm kind of obsessed. But from what I've heard, it's only like, it'll take about 2 weeks or so to beat it, and then I can sleep again.
So Andrew in our chat just said you are in for a treat with this one. So
I'm so excited.
So I've never heard of this. I've heard of games like this. Like I play Slay the Spire, which is also a board game, which they made a board game, but it's competitive, so it'll never get to my table because, as you know, in my house we have to make each other like rage quit and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
so when you started explaining this to me, I started looking it up on Steam. So I have it in my wish list right now. But
It's super cheap on Steam. I bought it for the Switch, but Steam, I think it's like $8 or something. It's by I wrote it down. Where is it? The Daniel Mullins Games, and the publisher is Devolver Digital. I want to say Devolver is at PAX East every year, aren't they? Or am I thinking of
no,
somebody else?
Devolver's there every year. Yep.
Devolver's there. I'm like, how have I missed this? Maybe I'm too busy in the board game section. I need to branch out. But I swear I'd seen them before, so I'm very excited. Now, after playing this, I'm excited to look at all their other stuff. But I've just heard such good things about this, and so on Sunday. Now it's Thursday, and I'm already obsessed.
So Andrew also just messaged that he says, as a side note, the creator does show up with a physical set at some of the cons and dynamically makes physical cards for it. So
I heard that there is physical cards. I looked it up briefly, but I don't want to look up too much because I don't want to know anything. So I looked up a little, but I think I saw that there's an actual in real life game, like the card game.
I have a feeling that you'll be stalking him when PAX Unplugs come to
him and Ryan Lockett. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Speaking of cons and stalking, I'm going to switch it over to Sean now, who is obsessed with Seti.
So they were demoing Seti by Czech Games Editions at PAX Unplugged. They were I mean, they had a whole room dedicated to running like this kind of hour-long demo. And Mandy's cousin Ed and I both sat down we'd seen the game out and it looked interesting, so we sat down to play the demo. As soon as we finished the demo, we both stood up and went right to where they were selling it and each bought a copy. They had at the time if you bought it, they had a promo card of Pluto, which I still consider to be a planet. And so, I mean, how could you turn that down? So I've played Seti a few times. I absolutely love it, and they've already announced the first expansion for it. So I kind of looked at the notes. So it's interesting. They're adding asymmetrical organizations, which is going to be really interesting to see how they manage that. I can't imagine it'll be as asymmetrical as games like Root, but so, yeah, or Villainous, yeah. So I'm curious to see how they do that. They're going to add some new aliens, which is easy to do. Just if you've played the game before, you know that adding aliens is easy because it doesn't impact the they don't have to change anything for the actual the majority of the gameplay. And then another thing they're adding to it is signal tokens, which they quoted as the new mechanic that enhances scanning efficiency. So that's gonna be interesting because the times I've played it with other folks, I feel like the common complaint was that scanning seemed like the thing that you had to do to get the pink alien trace, but it wasn't as rewarding as sending out probes or doing anything else. So everybody's kind of like, yeah, I scan because I have to, but that's about it. So, I mean, yeah, I'm really interested to see what this expansion is going to add to it. So I'm very excited about this one.
My brief little story that we talked about this game was that when Sean first played this game, I got a message on my phone saying, I played Seti, I love it, I'm going to buy it. And then I saw this blur of Sean just going across the con hall, flying to go find this game so he could buy it.
I'm pretty sure I was also texting my wife, can I please buy this game?
Again, Andrew, thank you for being in our chat. And yes, you are the first to respond. So his message, I don't know if you guys can see, says, "Oh, and as my ancient custom, I am compelled to post first." So yes, you are the first to post. So thank you, and thank you for talking with us in the chat. Really appreciate it, and thank you for not spoiling. He said, "I'm also being careful not to spoil nothing."
Don't spoil.
So yeah. We'll talk offline, Andrew. You can spoil it for me. No, I'm just kidding. So we're going to get to, so we have one more game to get to before we go to our topic, and that is Silverfrost, which is my game. I am really excited to play this game. It's made by, it's in the realm of Everdell. It is put out by James and Clarissa Wilson on Starling Games and Tabletop Tycoon. Basically, it's not an expansion. It's its own game. It's its own standalone game. Where in this town it's starting to snow, and you still got to put your people out there, build up the town. But however, um, with the snow, it actually starts covering up different areas. So you need fire to melt the snow or the ice, so that way you can use those spots. It's a cool mechanic. I really think it's a little fun. I haven't played it yet. I'm excited to play it. It is another thing is that they have a big mountain that you can actually use certain characters on. So there's different creatures, like large creatures, that will help you out. So it's a really cool mechanic. I'm really excited to see how this game plays. And yeah, it's again, my wife and I, we really love the Everdell series. We got most of the expansions, so I'm pretty excited to see how this game plays.
I'm excited. I forgot that even existed.
Yeah,
And now you've just reminded me, and I love Everdell, so I'm like, yes,
yep,
I'll play. Bring it, add it to the pile.
add it to the pile.
Yeah, definitely give that one a try.
Oh, Andrew, nice to see you. So Andrew in our chat is my friend Wash from Archery Games.
Nice.
So yes, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. All right, so our topic tonight is what got us into board games. And what I want to do is just a really brief thing, like what games did you play? What games do you remember playing? If there's an early memory of a game, if there's something that really got you into playing board games. I'm going to start with you, Mandy. Tell us something about the board games when what got you into board games. What games did you play when you were younger? Stuff like that.
Yeah, so growing up, my family always played Clue, but Master Detective. We never ever played regular Clue. I don't think I knew that there was a regular Clue. So we played that all the time as a family. I think that's pretty much the only thing we played other than cards. We played a lot of cards. But until about, I don't even know, I was in my 20s at some point. Somebody brought over Settlers Catan, and that was the end of it. I figured out that there was games that required strategy. And I guess Clue Master Detective requires some strategy. But I figured out a whole new world of games that required much more strategy, and I loved them. So I'd say at least the newer types of games, that's what got me into it, was a friend bringing over Settlers Catan. And I feel like that's a lot of people's gateway game, if you will. But that was definitely mine. And here we are. Look at this is just 2 shelves that I have. I have far more.
And so I have to ask, how many fights were there over sheep and wood and brick?
Sheep are pointless. Stupid sheep. There's so
Nobody
many.
wants your stinking sheep.
Right? Nobody wants your sheep. That first time there wasn't too many. I think we were all being too nice. Maybe by the end we played like 4 games in a row. We just kept going because we were all like, what is this? This is craziness. You don't have to just go around a board all the time, like roll, go around a board. But yeah, so we just kept playing and playing, and I don't think we got in too many fights that day. It was good. I mean, since then there's been plenty, but yeah.
If you're not fighting in a board game, you're not doing it right.
You're not doing it right.
Sean,
how are you having fun?
Yep.
So, Sean, what about you? What about a board game for you that got you into board games? Like, what's your earliest memory of playing board games, stuff like that?
So I remember my family, we played a lot of Rummikub when we went camping. Absolutely loved that game. I played some of the others. We played Monopoly, Trivial Pursuit, some of the other games. And probably by the time I got to high school, kind of quit playing board games. It wasn't until after college, I was living in a house with some friends, and this one friend of ours came over one day. He said, "Hey, I got some board games to play." And we're like, I guess we can play some more games. That's fine." So he brought over. I think the first day it was probably like Settlers Catan and Carcassonne, and we're like, "These games are amazing." And he said, like, "Yeah, I got a bunch more." And so we started this kind of tradition that every Monday night he would come over and bring a couple new games that we'd play. Games by a ton of games by legendary game designer Reiner Knizia. Games like Samurai, Through the Desert, Tigris Euphrates, um, Bonanza, which wasn't his, but just another one. So just all these games and it was like a new game every single week that none of us had ever heard of. He was very into, Germany had the Espen Spiel, I think, I'm not sure if I
Yep.
pronounced that right, awards by then. And so, he was getting all these games from Germany, some of which didn't actually have English rules because he had basically gotten them shipped from Germany. And yeah, that was probably about 2001. So that kind of started my journey into the board game realm.
Nice. Is there anything beside you said Rummikub with the game? Like, do you have a memory of it? Like, do you have like a memory of playing with your family? Like anything that stands out, or any fights any fights over it?
I remember that I hated Trivial Pursuit and my sister hated Monopoly. So the only way that we could play those games is we'd basically make a deal with each other. It's like, all right, I'll play Trivial Pursuit with you if you play Monopoly with me. So we would make these deals and play. I don't know how often we actually finished any of those games, but those are the deals that we would make. So
Nice, nice.
The entire shelf above this one is all Trivial Pursuit. I didn't put that one on here.
I still hate trivia games to this day.
Yeah, I love them.
So for the people watching at home, that will be one of our episodes of which games we hate to love and love to hate. Will be coming up soon, so we'll be doing that. We'll be doing that episode. That might be a double long episode because there's lots of games that we could come up with. So Andrew says that he is a 40K recovering player, so that's probably where he got his start from. But yeah, so my earliest memory of playing board games is that my family had a cabin cottage up in Maine, and during the rainy nights or the nights that was just too hot to really do anything, we would sit around the table and play games like Payday, Life, and stuff like that. One of my favorite games that we used to play when we were a kid was Round 4. It was like this table looking thing that everyone has a different colored chips. There was like 4 different colored chips, and you had to it was like kind of like Connect 4, where you had to get 4 in a row, but except that there was rings on these that spun, and as they spun, the chips either fell in holes or covered up other chips and stuff like that. And so again, that's where I think that the realizing that if you're not fighting at the table, you're not doing it right, playing board games came from, or the rage of playing board games came from me, because there was so many nights we'd play that, and it was a lot of fun. I still remember that is probably one of my fondest memories of beginning to play board games. But then like what really got me into board games was I worked at Tufts, and I worked with Sean, and Sean knows the story. I walked into the student services, and the director of the time goes, "Hey, just the geek I'm looking for, follow me." And I'm like, all right, what did I do now? And he walks over to this cabinet, unlocks it, he holds it up, he's like, take whatever you want. I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my god, what are these, board games? Like, I never even didn't even realize they came like that. So I looked through them, and there was like Carcassonne and Catan and Sorrow and like Citadels and so many more. And I literally just brought my truck up, or my SUV, and loaded up my truck with them and brought them back and stuck them on my shelves. And then a couple weeks later, we started playing them. Excuse me. And one of the games that we played was Descent at my house. That's when Ben learned it, and we all went over and got to play. And then after that, I was like, wow, this is really fun about board games. I didn't realize that. And then another like a big memory of mine too for board games was proposing to my wife over a game of Clue. The best part was when she thought I lost because I said the wrong thing. And so I was like, oh, it's I think it was Mrs. Peacock in the kitchen and I put the ring on the table, and she was like, no, oh wait, hold on. Like, she was so excited that she won that she didn't realize what was happening. But yeah, so so that's another big memory of mine, that with board games, and like how that can spawn those memories that you'll have for the rest of your life. But
I mean, it's hard to top proposing to your wife over a board game.
Yeah. Well, I'm not.
I haven't had that.
Yeah. It was just the look on her face when she thought she won because she didn't realize what was happening. I think that was the best part, because
Yeah.
But
but she did win, Sean, because she got to marry you. Oh,
I don't know if that's a win or a loss, but we'll that's still up for judgment, even though it's been almost 20 years. But we'll have to ask her that later when she comes on. Was it a win or a loss when that happened? All right, guys, that is our episode for tonight. Thank you for joining us at Roll, Move, Repeat. We will be back in 2 weeks on October 23rd at 9 o'clock to do our next episode. So until then, keep playing games. Have a good night.
Can we do it?